Alrighty. Hello, everybody. I'm a couple minutes late, but my greenhouse is in a state at the moment. I don't have a table set up or anything. Um, I'm kind of working on rearranging it out here, so I had to figure out a spot to set my phone up so that I could do the video. I forgot that I didn't have my table set up. But I thought this was a great place to come out here and do the chat for today, because the it's chilly, but it's sunny, and so it makes it nice and warm here in the greenhouse. Um, so I didn't have a regular video filmed for today, and so I thought, you know what, I'm just going to do a live chat. I haven't done one of these, um, other than my scripture ones on Saturdays, but um, hello. Um, so I just thought I would do one of these. I had a couple things I wanted to talk about, and so I just felt like let's just do a live chat. So uh, my new style of doing the videos that I've been doing lately, the sort of more cinematic narrated style videos, I love them. To me, they are kind of a creative outlet. Hello, Corey. I love doing. I love the process. I love the editing. I love, figuring out what music I want to use and things like that. I love doing those types of videos. However, they probably triple the amount of time it takes me to do a video. And I'm not going to stop doing them, but I definitely cannot, um, I can't do that style for all of my videos, or I'm just not going to be able to do videos like that. So I've kind of worked out a new schedule that I want to do, because I do want to continue doing the three regular videos a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then the Saturday scripture reading. And I kind of started doing a little bit of discussion afterwards where I just answer questions, faith based types of questions that I get from time to time. And pardon me for sniffling, I still am dealing with allergies. They are getting a little bit better, but I'm still dealing with them. So it's spring. And for me, it's hardwoods that cause me to have like seasonal allergies, and we have lots of hardwoods here. We live in the mountains, and there are pine trees here and there. Pine does not bother me one bit. I used to live someplace where it's nothing but pine, and I have like no allergies there. But um, good morning, making it home. Good morning, everybody. Um, so I just lost my train of thought. The videos. So I'm going to continue doing the Monday, Wednesday, Friday videos, but I think here's what I'm going to do. This is what I'm kind of working out. I would like there to be a little bit more of a consistent pattern of what I do and everything. And so Mondays, this is what I'm kind of thinking. I may change it out, but this is what I'm thinking. Mondays will be a vlog, where I'm walking, I'm talking to the camera, I'm talking to you guys, the face to face sort of video. I'll do one of those on Monday. Wednesdays will be in the kitchen. So, Nova Scotia, hello. Wednesdays will be a cooking video, something in the kitchen related. So it may be canning, it may be a dinner recipe or something like that. And then on Friday, I think I will do the more narrated cinematic style of videos. So we'll still have those, but it's just going to be one day a week because, like I said, those of you who are just coming in, the um, cinematic videos, the narrated style, I love those videos. I love the style of them. I love just the relaxing atmosphere of them, but they are easily triple the amount of work to do. So I cannot do those for all of the videos. But so this is what I've kind of worked out in my head. This is what I think I'm going to be doing at least for a little while, kind of going forward. Um, I think that might be a more reasonable, doable pattern of videos for me. Um, are you planning on being any of the meetups this spring or summer? I have no plans whatsoever of going to any homesteading events this year. And that is simply because, we're here at our new homestead and there's a lot of things to do. For instance, building a new garden. There's a lot of projects to work on, and nothing's going to be done if I'm not here. you know, I mean, look, Mr. Smith works full time. He works from home, but he still works full time. And, the outside stuff is kind of my thing. And so he helps me when I need the help, but when it comes to the garden and it comes to the chickens and the animals, that's my deal. So I take primary responsibility for all the work for those things. And we have new animal shelters that we want to build, the like real permanent structure animal shelters, like the ones that we had in Alabama. And those things, they don't build themselves, so we would really like to get those done before the next winter, so that they have the better shelters. I really liked the style of shelter that we had built for Sophie and Amos, there in Alabama, because we had two stalls. It made it very easy, and actually their animal shelter I would like to have built very, very soon. Like, theirs should be the next one to be built, because it makes it really easy to get them sprayed down with fly spray when summer comes, because the flies are terrible and they really go after Sophie. I mean, really bad. And donkeys and mules hate water. They hate being sprayed with anything. And if I don't have a way to contain them, it is almost impossible to get them sprayed down. It is really hard. So we really want to get their animal shelter built first. That way they'll have their stalls. We can close the gates, to keep them in there, so I can spray them down to keep the flies off, because they were terrible. Like, her legs were so ate up. It was so bad, last year, just because we didn't have any way to um, keep them still to spray them down. So, and Amos, oh, he's Amos. He's yeah. It also makes them easier to get their halters on and everything for the farrier. So yeah, we love those critters. Oh, what did I just do? Hold on. Let's see here. Thank you. Oh, I wanted to say thank you for the cards that I received in the mail. I received more than one card from very sweet subscribers saying that they were praying for me and praying for, just the stuff that's been going on here. My family's life is personal, and they don't necessarily want to, share all their business on the internet. You know what I mean? I share a lot, but I only share the things that the family's comfortable with. And I did mention briefly, in, I think it was one of my Sunday or my Saturday chats, where there's just that spiritual warfare is a real thing, and there's times where we're real people, and things, there's struggles sometimes, especially when there's not believers in your family. So I just want to say thank you for all the prayers and everything and the cards. That was very, very sweet. And it meant a lot. I keep all of the cards and letters that people send to me. I keep them all. I have like this really pretty box, and I think I'm gonna have to get a bigger one. And I keep all of those letters and cards. So if you have sent something to me, and I have like little quilts that were sent to me, not placemats, like a cup holder, a mug rug. That's what they're called. mug rugs. I have like these little pocket quilts. I keep all of those things. I think it's very special um, when I receive those, and I appreciate them. Let's see. Are you going to have a video building the shelters? Absolutely. I will show exactly how we built them. Um, they were very simple, but they you know did the job. They were a great shelter. I mean, I could walk in there in the winter and you could immediately tell the temperature difference and everything. Now, the ones that we had in Alabama, we had put siding on those. Um, I don't know if we'll do siding because there is a sawmill. Well, there's sawmills all over here, but there's one that I drive by pretty often, and they've always got the cedar trimmings. And so I'm kind of thinking we will side those with cedar trimmings because you can get a whole bundle of them for, if not free, really, really cheap. Um, and I had wished I'd have known that before I started building my garden beds, or I might have built them with those. And please pardon me, I'm gonna have to wipe my nose because it's allergy season, folks. And uh, you know, I just started taking stinging nettle, which usually helps me, but it's not an immediate thing, so it takes a little time to kind of build up and start working. I can already feel the difference. I am improving. I'm not sneezing quite as much as I have been. Still sneezing, still a bit congested, but um, it will it'll get better. It'll get better if the between the stinging nettle and all that good stuff and eating low carb, which I have gone back to because that does make a huge difference for me. Ideally, I should have started eating low carb before allergy season started, but who would have thought it would have started in February? But we have had a incredibly warm winter. Yeah, winter. It is still winter. It was 80 degrees here day before yesterday. The 2 days before yesterday. 80 in the 80s. Thank you. Thank you for that, Sharon. Hello, Marty. um, what else? So yes, the video schedule, like I said, that is going to be. It's still going to be Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, but we're gonna go um, vlog, which I think is the best term for the video log, kind of videos, face-to-face videos. And that'll be just, whatever's going on in life, homestead stuff, what have you. But I'll like take you along and be talking to you, the face-to-face videos. Wednesday is going to be some sort of cooking video, baking, canning, preserving, something along those lines, which I want to touch on here in just a second. Friday will be the cinematic narrated style videos that I love to do. Just don't have the time to do all of them that way. And then, of course, Saturday is scripture reading, and I do answer questions. I started doing that now after I read the Saturday scriptures. I will answer any sort of faith-based related types of questions on those days, especially if it's something that I get quite a bit. I will answer those. Uh, yeah, stinging nettle. So usually for the allergies, in the past I have used stinging nettle. I use stinging nettle, vitamin C, and echinacea. I need to go pick up some echinacea because I thought I had more of that, and I don't. So I need to get those. I do have some echinacea tea, though. I can start doing the tea. Um, let's see. What was I just going to say? Oh, the canning. All right, so in case you missed it, I did a live video a few weeks ago where I did this huge announcement talking about March Canning Madness. And I shared all of the details about that. I actually have a blog post on my website where I go through it all and I explain it all. Black seed oil peels. No, I have not. Oh, I have not tried oregano either. Interesting. I'll have to think. I'll have to look that up. Um, I did. So I like I said, I shared the blog post, has all of the details, a recap of all of that. And so I just want to kind of mention that again because we are almost to March. And I do have 2 canning videos that I had already filmed and I just never edited them. But I am going to include those um, in the March Canning Madness. One was for Marionberry jam. The other one was for canned carrots, just plain Jane ingredient canned carrots that you could use in soups, in soups and stews, any kind of thing that you need cooked carrots for, and just basic canned carrots. And so I've already got those filmed. My thought was I will share those videos the week that I find myself packing up all of the coffee mugs for the boxes. I'm actually going to go to the post office this afternoon and just ask them. I have not received the boxes that I ordered. I ordered these boxes weeks ago, long before the mugs came, and I've still not gotten them. So I'm going to have to swing by the post office and just talk to them, see how many they have in stock, and get some from them. Maybe I can order them through the post office. I ordered them through my post office account online, and I've just never gotten them. So I don't know what has happened. And now I got locked out of my account, which is how I manage my P.O. box. So it, what can I say? It's the post office, it's a government website, it's a fiasco. So as soon as I have those boxes in hand, I will post the mugs for sale. So I'm just waiting on those. Hello, Mimsy's Garden. Can we see the mugs again? I will post a picture in the community tab and on my Instagram and Facebook later this afternoon. They're in the house, so let's see. Well, I am nobody's ex. um, Yes, Anna, Fermented Homestead. I do have the comments on, and as you can see, you have a wrench. I gave several people some wrenches ahead of time the other day. I figure that way if anybody hops on, they can already take care of things. Um, let's see. Um, yeah, I will post pictures of the mugs on social media and on the community tab. I'm looking back, just trying to see if I've missed any questions. Let's see. Yeah, so the mugs have not been sold yet. I have not posted them available for sale yet. Yeah, I've got new mugs. They will be going hopefully for sale sometime in March. My plan was supposed to be the first week of March because I thought I would have the shipping boxes long before now. But I have not gotten those boxes, and I need to have them all in my hands because I want to set aside, like however long it takes to get all of these boxed up to ship. And so those canning videos I had already filmed, I will schedule those to go up when I am super busy boxing up mugs. And so that way there'll be content coming up. Well, these mugs look completely different than my other mugs that I've had done. These are they're made by the same pottery as the Homesteaders of America as their mugs. If you went to the conference or you've seen them, I don't know if they ever sold them on their website, but it was the same artist. So they're the taller ones, and there's 3 different colors. There's a green one, of course, because it's my favorite color. There's a teal color, and then there's like the rustic brown. And so there's the 3 colors to choose from. They're going to be for sale for $40. The same, I think that's the same price as the other mugs um, that I had done. But yeah, these are totally different. They do have my logo, my hen and spoon logo, and they say Cosmopolitan Cornbread underneath them. So I think they turned out really good. And of course, they're all handmade, so they are not identical to one another. They're all very similar because they're really good at what they do. But the coffee mugs are each is unique. So the glazing will look slightly different. They're all similar, but they're all one of a kind, all handmade. So yeah, Bonnie, it took me a while to find an artist who could make them at a good price. I didn't want to have mugs that were like $80 because nobody wants to spend that much money on a mug. Um, you know, I mean, $40 isn't cheap, but they're handmade pottery, and I really think that that is worth it for the price. And they're very well made. They're really nice. Um, let's see here. Um, all right, so this is a place to talk about homesteading and gardening and faith and all of that. We're not going to talk about um, political viewpoints in here today, especially what's going on in the Middle East. Um, let's see. No, that's okay. I might have seen it before you did, Anna. Um, yeah, it'll be in my Etsy shop. It's the Cosmo Cornbread Etsy shop, which, I don't have anything for sale in there. But I do think that the link for that shop started going up under my in my video descriptions. So like my last video, you should be able to find that shop. Like I said, there's nothing for sale there yet, but that's where there will be. And I will do like a big announcement here on the channel to let people know here's when the mugs are going to be available. That way nobody misses it. And I mentioned in the other video where I had talked about the mugs that there's going to be two release dates. Like one day I'll do it in a morning, and then the very next day I'll do it in that evening. That way, because people have work schedules and they might not be able to get on there to get a mug. I don't know how quick they're going to sell. Maybe it'll take a while, so maybe the time wouldn't matter. But just in case, I wanted to make sure that there's two opportunities to get mugs. Um, so that people get the best opportunity possible. Let's see here. Thank you, Erica. So I'm actually planning on Saturdays after I do my scripture reading. Um, I'm going to start talking about the feasts and sharing more about them, especially because the spring feast season is coming up. I'm also going to talk about the extra biblical feasts like Passover, or not Passover, like Purim and Hanukkah. So I'm going to be sharing more about those because that's something I have been planning on doing for a very long time, and I've just not gotten around to do with it. But I feel like Saturdays after I read the scriptures, I think that's just kind of like the ideal time to do it. And so there'll be live videos like this, but I'll be able to share a little bit of that. Absolutely, I can do that, Sharon. Let's see. So it is today. It's 50 degrees here today, but it's sunny, so it's nice and toasty here in the uh, in the greenhouse. Kind of the perfect spot to come in here and. Oh, I know, Mimsy's garden. It I it has taken every bit of self-control that I have to not start my seeds yet, because I have a really bad habit of starting my seeds way too early, and then I've got young plants that desperately need to get into the ground, and they're still in their little baby starter pots or solo cups, and they're too big and they shouldn't be in there anymore. So I mean I actually got my seeds all out about a week ago, and I was about ready to start them the very next day, and I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Constance, slow your roll. No, we're not gonna do this. So I'm waiting. My seeds are out. They're waiting. Oh, they're waiting. So, but I do have to I'm reworking the area here in the greenhouse. I'm kind of moving things around a little bit. But you can see I've got like all my grow lights out here and all of that because yes, this is a greenhouse, but there's not a lot of light in here. We're in the woods, and so there's they need sun. So these are the same grow lights that I used in Alabama in the corner of my bedroom. So we'll be using these in here. I'll be using these in here. I'm the gardener here. Yeah. Oh, Anna's starting tomatoes today. I'm anxious. I'm anxious, but yeah, see, it's a problem. It's like the minute you feel like it's getting close to spring, it's like plant the seeds, plant the seeds. Oh yeah, so Willow loves going out there and playing in the dirt, and I had a few people comment that she needs some kid garden tools. She has them. She's got a cute, I don't know if they're in here or where they are exactly. They're in here somewhere. Actually, I think they're in the workshop. She's got a little child-sized rake and a little child-sized shovel, and then of course we have one of the little hand rakes. Um, I have one of these, but it's plastic, and so she was using that. But she picked up my big garden rake, and she just wanted to use it like Oma did. So she was having a good old time. So I'm actually going to make a very small garden bed for her so that she can dig around in it. I'll try and plant some stuff in it. I don't know if it'll take because she'll probably be digging in there. But yeah, I am gonna put a small bed out there for her. I actually think I might get one of those little tykes. I think it's little tykes, or maybe it's step two. They make a sandbox, like this turtle sandbox. I think she would have a ball with one of those, and maybe put it out there in the garden so she can dig in the sand while uh, when I'm out there working in the garden. Do you ever do in-person garden canning or homesteading types of classes for people nearby you? I haven't, but I would be open to that. I think the real challenge is finding a location to do it. I couldn't have people here to do it because number one, I have a really small kitchen and I have dogs that go crazy with anybody coming over. Um, they're they're great dogs, they're great pets, but when strangers come, stranger danger. When they come over, they're just, yeah, it's nuts when we have people come over. So I couldn't host them here. I am actually about to host a canning class for my Bible fellowship. There's a couple ladies who are wanting to learn how to pressure can, and because they want to take the fear out of it. And so we're planning a canning day. We're actually going to can my sloppy Joe, and so I think that they would. I think it'll go over really well. And plus, they homeschool, so the kids can participate, and it can be a food preservation life skill day. So the kids can participate. Oh yeah, a kiddie pool would work really well. The only thing is I would probably have to get two so that I can make a cover because I mean we have the fencing around there to keep the cats out and everything, but we don't want cats getting in there. We've seen strays around, so we would want to make sure that the cats don't get in there because it's a sandbox. Let's see here. What causes white fungus on starter seeds? Yeah, I'm guessing. I see Anna was kind of commenting on that. I'm guessing on the soil, on the top of the soil. Yeah, it's too much moisture. One of the things that you can do to kind of help with that, because what ends up, yeah, on the soil, um, uh, one of the things that a lot of times people struggle with, and I have too in the past, is when you get that fungus growing on top of the soil, it leads to fungus gnats, and those fungus gnats are just brutal to your seedlings, and you'll have this little baby seedling coming up, and then the stem of it starts shrinking at the bottom, and then the plant gets weak, and it's from the fungus gnats. And so one of the things that can help with that is sprinkling the soil in your starter trays, or however you're starting them. I usually use my soil blocking tool, which that's what my phone is leaning on, so I can't pick it up and show you. Well, here, let me, hold on. One of these makes the soil blocks. Um, is Ceylon cinnamon. A Ceylon cinnamon is antifungal. And so I just keep, and it's not the regular cinnamon that you bake with. It's the hot cinnamon. When you think of big red gum, that spicy hot cinnamon, that's that kind of cinnamon. And so if you sprinkle that over the top of your soil, now you do still want to control the moisture, but Ceylon cinnamon is antifungal, and it'll help prevent that. And so I started doing that. Anytime I'm starting seeds, I always sprinkle the top of it. Yeah, it works really well. Plus, it smells good. But I did have to order it from Amazon because I couldn't find it in any store. I looked at it. I looked for it all over the place. Yep, Ceylon cinnamon. The hot cinnamon. It's antifungal, and so it helps prevent the fungus from growing. Let's see. All right, have fun with the grands, Mimsy. Let's see. All right, so the other thing I wanted to mention too is, pardon me. Hold on, my mouth is getting dry. Let me take a drink. Of course, Asia. I don't know why I didn't think of them. Um, well, I got my cinnamon, I think before I started using Asia Standard. So, um, and I'm still using the same bottle. It doesn't take much, just a sprinkling over the top of it. Um, what are you going to grow in the garden beds? So I haven't narrowed it down to the definitive list yet. Um, but there will definitely be tomatoes, and there will definitely be peppers and beans. So those three are like you don't even have to mention. Of course, there's going to be tomatoes and peppers and green beans. Beyond that, I don't know yet. I'll kind of figure that out as I'm starting seeds. Um, we do have additional raised beds out here, the stone ones that were here when we moved in. And plus, I've got two of those little round metal ones that I picked up from Tractor Supply. So, one of the round ones I already planted, it's full of onions, little baby onions. So, we'll see how it goes. I have not been too great at growing onions, so fingers are crossed that I can get them to grow. Um, and oh, I just thought of something. The only onions I've ever been able to grow were Egyptian walking onions. And I brought some with me from Alabama, and I don't know. I planted them somewhere. I'm going to have to go on a search. I just remembered. I planted some of those. Where did I plant them? So there's some random beds out under the trees out there. Maybe I planted them out there. I hope they survived the summer. I'm gonna have to look. If not, I'm gonna have to find some place to order them because they were phenomenal little onions. They grew so well. They were like the only onions I've ever grown successfully because they plant themselves. It's amazing. Um, but yeah, so I planted one of those round beds full of onions. Just starts that I picked up at the farmer's co-op, and then there will definitely be sunflowers. Oh yes, oh yes. I've already got like 4 different packets of seeds that I picked out from my stash. So the other round bed I think is going to be all cucumbers. My son wants to plant cucumbers to make pickles. And so that bed will definitely be cucumbers. There may be more cucumbers somewhere else. I don't know. But this long bed out here, the one that Willow was sitting in the other day, the stone one, where she was like in her little pink outfit right before we blew the dirt out of her hair. That big long bed, it's like 25, 30 feet long. That bed is going to be nothing but herbs and flowers. And so that's what I'm going to be planting there. Because I really need to get my herbs established, and that'll be a great place. Plus, it's right outside the house, so I can come out of the kitchen, go straight to the herb bed. And Baker Creek has Egyptian walking onions. Oh, okay. I will have to look there. Thank you for that. Cabbage. I will probably grow cabbage, but not until the fall. Because, being here in Arkansas, same as Alabama, the winters generally aren't that bad, and we have a nice long autumn, and so I can start cabbage like at the end of summer and plant it then and let it go then, because it gets so hot so fast here, just like Alabama. I couldn't really grow cabbage in the spring in Alabama because it would get so hot so fast that it would just bolt. Same thing with like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, anything in that family. I had a hard time growing in the spring, but I could grow it all day long in the fall. But yeah, I do plan on growing some of the Mongolian giant sunflowers, which were those humongous ones that I had in my garden the last time I did a big garden. I want to plant some of those. And then I have a few other varieties. Now, I wasn't really gardening the last 2 years because I took a year off to rest and then a year that we were moving. But I did purchase some more seeds for different varieties of sunflowers that I've never used, or that I've never grown. So I love the chocolate cherries. I'm going to grow some chocolate cherries. And that's those really deep burgundy, almost black ones that you've seen in some of my videos. Sometimes I use that little clip at the very end of the video where I have like the little, like the cards for suggested videos. Sometimes I use that video clip at the end for that. Um, yeah, yeah. It's too hot. Maybe if it was like if I lived further north and it wasn't so hot in the summer, we had a longer spring, maybe. Charlotte, you have a lot of walking onions willing to share. Do you live in my area? Do you live in Arkansas or somewhere here that I could get some from you? I would love that. Yeah, no, just in the spring or just in the fall. Um, so another thing that I wanted to mention real quick is next, gosh, about a week and a half from now, there is an event taking place in Fort Smith, Arkansas. This is completely different from gardening or anything else we've been chatting about, but I wanted to bring this up real quick. Um, it is a fundraiser event, and if you've never heard of Grindstone Ministries, it is a ministry um, that helps. Well, Grindstone Ministries helps people who have had natural disasters, fires, uh, tornadoes, things like that. They come in and they help people when they're kind of like they're kind of like a private FEMA, not related to the government, but they come in and they help with people. They help people after there's been tragedies like that. But there's related to that. There is an organization called Caleb House, and it is a new organization that's being built to help children who have been victims of trafficking, human trafficking. And so it is a fundraiser for this charity. If you've ever heard of Bear Independent here on YouTube, he kind of has a big prepper-ish sort of channel. Um, he is the CEO of sorts of that. And so I have actually been asked to speak at this fundraiser event. It is called Refuge Ruckus. And so I'm going to be speaking at that. There are still tickets available if anybody is in the region and they want to participate. You can also do a virtual ruck. So on Friday is when there's going to be the speakers, including me. Saturday, it's actually going to be a day of worship. It's going to be a worship day, and then on Sunday there's going to be a great big like ruck march all through Fort Smith, Arkansas, and it's just to bring awareness, to help raise funds and all that. And so people are actually getting a virtual ticket where they can like do their own ruck march and help donate money to the fundraiser. um, and so there's different ways that you can help. If you want to look into it, it's refugeruckus.com is the website. And you can find out more about that. And like I said, I will be speaking. I think that is the only speaking event that I have, or the only event that I have on my calendar at all for this year. I was going to be speaking at the Arkansas Homestead Conference event in Arkansas. It's further, like in southern Arkansas, but I have not heard anything about dates for it, and so I haven't heard from the organizer, and so I don't know at this point if I'm still going to be speaking there or not, because I don't know if the dates will be good for me. Um, my husband travels a lot right now, and um, I don't like to be gone when he's traveling, just because of the animals and everything. Because my son and daughter-in-law live here, sort of, but they have an apartment, and so they're separate. Like it's a separate residence, and so my dogs just don't like. I don't want my dogs being by themselves. You know what I mean? I just spoil them that way. So even though they be getting let out, they be alone, and so I don't like to do things when my husband's not home. All right, September 6th through 7th. What is that? Um, Thank you. So this headband, it's a headband. It looks like a wrap. It looks like a scarf that's been knotted and everything, but it's just a headband. I have quite a few of these. I will tell you, they are not expensive. I have bought them over a course of years, but these are from the Laurel Mercantile in Mississippi. And if you watch the TV show, is it Hometown? I think it's Hometown. Really big red-haired guy with a beard, kind of lumberjackish, and little petite blonde lady. They redo houses, kind of like the Fixer Upper show. It's their store, and so that's where these came from. Laurel Mercantile, Laurel like the tree. Oh, Ozark. Oh, Ozark Expo. That's the Missouri one, right? Hello, Julie. Let's see here. Oh, Charlotte, I would love them. Please send me an email at I have two email addresses that you could use. Either one of them is fine. Contact at cosmopolitancornbread.com. That is, uh, that's the one that you can find on my website, or my Gmail account is Cosmo Cornbread, so it's a shorter version. Cosmocornbread at gmail.com. If you want to get in touch with me, and I would love to talk to you about those onions, because yeah, I don't remember seeing any. So I think, I don't think they survived the whole moving process and everything. Um, yeah, so I might go to that one this year. So I had actually bought a ticket to that one for last year, and then it was so busy and there was so much going on, and I felt like I had been on the road for so much, I just could not do another trip, you know? So in the fall, I might look at that one, because it's still It's still a ways, but I think that one might be doable. So, Lord willing, and the earth doesn't implode, I think I can maybe pencil that one in on my calendar. Especially since it's in the fall, because the fall is a much easier time for gardening. Oh yeah, it is hometown. That's what I was thinking. So yeah, that's where these headbands came from. I think the regular price for them is like $25 or something like that, but I do know that they have some on sale right now for 17. And like I said, I just buy like one. I like to watch for their sales and get them when they're on sale. Oh, hello, Nubsy. He just jumped through the window. Hi, buddy. Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be awesome, Anna. I'll have to, because I think when I looked it up, it was like 4 hours away, which I think is definitely doable. That would be fun. So yeah, I'll have to write those in. I'll have to pencil it in my on my calendar, and maybe I can think about going to that one. I think that would be fun. Oh goodness. And there he goes, back out the window. So with not having anything in here, no planted things in here, we always keep one of the windows for the greenhouse open, and the cats will come in here to get warm. So in the winter, and remember, this place is a chaotic mess right now. We have a heat lamp in here, so when it's super cold, I'll actually set this up and we have like this little box thing with a blanket that Nubs likes to sleep in, and so I'll set up that heat lamp. So when it's super cold, the cats will come in here, and Nubs will sleep in the box, and then Stumper gets up on a shelf. I have a folded up blanket up on the shelf. That's where she likes to sleep. So we've keep places for the cats to get warm when it's winter time. But now once planting comes, I'll be closing that window and not letting them come in here because I don't want them to eat my plants. Yeah, I have found that planting cabbage in the oh, nice. Julie Julie says there's a homestead conference there in Georgia next weekend that she's going to go to with Cattywampus Acres. That will be fun. Yeah, I'm hoping to go to one of the Baker Creek ones sometime. So the cabbage. I have found that it is so much easier to grow cabbage in the fall because there's way less pest pressure in the fall. Um, there's logging trucks. So if you hear that noise, they're putting stuff through a mulcher. Oh, I got wood chips. I had a feeling that the guy that I talked to about the wood chips wasn't going to actually get the wood chips dropped off here. And yesterday I drove by and he had dropped them off. He just didn't put them in the spot that I told him to put them in, but that's okay. It'll work. So I'm going out there this afternoon. I'm taking my tractor, scooping that stuff all up, and putting it in my garden area. So I'm very excited. I don't know, I'll probably just use it for the walkways right now, but I'm kind of thinking depending on how much there is, I'll leave a great big pile for it to start breaking down for garden beds. So I'm curious if any of you guys have ever used the fresh wood chips in your garden, like the Back to Eden style. Now, I will say that a lot of times, like in the fall when I plant the brassicas, um, I do still use like the fabric to cover them up, the agar fabric, particularly when it's super super cold. So like if there's a freeze coming, I do cover them, but they are very hardy, and they'll slow down in the cold. They won't grow as fast, but they do great. Yeah, I'm kind of thinking I'm just going to use those for the most part for the walkways right now. But yeah, using it for the walkways. But depending on how much they end up dropping out there, because they're working in my area and they just started doing that grinding machine that you can hear. So I told them, I'm like, hey, all the houses, all the trees that you do that with in this area, drop them out here. I'll take all those wood chips. Yeah, old hay bales do work great too. We actually have so the chickens got into the shed where we had the hay, and demolished a couple of hay bales, and so there's hay everywhere. And I'm just gonna break all that stuff up, and I'm gonna use that for mulching my garden beds. In the past, I've used straw, old straw, and but hay works great too, especially because there's really not any seeds in there. Oh yeah, slugs. So my son just saw a slug in one of the raised beds yesterday, and I'm like, mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. So I'm gonna definitely use the wood chips for the walkways, but then we'll see it's just gonna depend on how much I end up getting, what I can do them for or do with them. So I do not like mushrooms. But my son loves mushrooms, and he's actually started experimenting with growing them. We got two inoculated logs last year, like brand new inoculated logs from a farmer's market here in the area. There was a farmer's market in Greenwood that was on Thursdays, and so we went there, and there was a guy selling the mushroom logs. And so we picked them up for our son because he's been talking about for like 2 years wanting to grow mushrooms. And so we got him, I know lion's mane was one of them. I forget which the other one was. And so he actually saw like his first little baby mushrooms pop up out of one of those logs. So he was super excited. And yeah, I don't remember what the other one. And then he just ordered a one of those kits that it's like a box, and the mushrooms grow out the side of them. I think I don't remember which mushroom it was. Oh, oysters. Oyster mushrooms. That's the other one that we've got him. Um, Hello, Angie. Welcome. Cher says, we have so much shade on our garden. On half our garden, I think mushrooms are the only thing that could grow there. Yeah, I'm just not a fan of mushrooms. It for me, it's a texture thing. I don't mind the flavor of them. Um, back when I used to use the cream of fill in the blank soups for things, I didn't mind the cream of mushroom soup. And yeah, they're high in. I know they're good for you, and I know they're like one of the few things that actually have natural vitamin D. I just don't like them. Although I will tell you, I did pick up these little pouches at the health food store in Fort Smith that are like the mushroom coffee. I haven't tried them yet. I was like, oh, these are supposed to be really good for you, and maybe I'll like them, but I haven't tried them yet. I bought two different ones, um, but I'll brave it in a little while when I get to it. When I get up the courage to try. Yeah, so the flavor doesn't bother me. It's just the texture. I just, yeah, mushroom coffee. I forget the brands. There's two different ones. They had one that was a mocha one, but they didn't have the single serves for sale. They were sold out. So it must be pretty good if that one was sold out. But yeah, I don't know. I'll try it. I don't know if I'll like it. Yeah. I haven't been drinking a lot of coffee lately, believe it or not. I know that's like, for me, that's like, what? But my I don't know, for some reason I'm having issues with my coffee. If I get coffee someplace else, I'm fine. But if I drink my coffee here, it's like my stomach gets very angry at me. So I don't know. I might have to change what kind of coffee I'm drinking. Good afternoon, Carmelita. All right, let's see here. Yeah. And see, that's why, like, when it comes to food textures, that's why I don't eat a lot of tomatoes. Now, I love tomato products. I love tomato sauce. I like salsa if the tomatoes are really cooked down. And, I'll use diced tomatoes in foods like soups and stuff, but it has to cook down a lot so that it's super soft because there's just something about the texture. I can't eat them. I just, yeah, I just can't. It's the texture. And I've been like that my whole life. Like I would pick out every chunk of tomato out of everything. But tomato sauce, pureed tomatoes, I'm great. I love the pureed tomatoes. And I can grow them like crazy, but you will never see me eating a tomato sandwich. It's just, I can't do the texture. Oh, yeah. I when I was a kid, I hated onions, but now I love onions. I do still have issues with some of the texture of onions. If they're a big raw chunk, I don't like that. But if as long as they're cut super thin or if they're cooked, I'm good with it. I love onion. I mean, I will make a pan of caramelized onions for something, and it's like I have to make myself not eat all the caramelized onions because I could just eat them all. Oh, tomatoes are better for you if they are cooked or canned. I didn't actually know that. Maybe it releases more nutrients or something. Have you ever tried fried morel mushrooms? I have never had morel mushrooms. No, I've supposedly they grow all over the place here in our area, and I've not really looked a whole lot. I mean, well, we've only been here the one spring because they grow in the spring, right? See, I don't know a lot about mushrooms. I've never really looked into a lot about mushrooms just because I was like, oh, mushrooms. Um, I've heard those are very good though, and that people who don't like mushrooms like those. My husband says he don't eat anything that grows in a garden. Oh no. Hello, Laura. Yeah, MK. It's funny how our tastes change from childhood to adult. Um, there's hated onions. Now peppers, I still don't like big chunks of raw pepper, but I love sautéed peppers. As long as they're soft or if they're diced up small in something, I love them. Oh my goodness. That is brave, Carmelita. Oh, I'm a curious eater sometimes. I wonder what something would taste like, so I try it. So last week I wondered why my chickens like mealworms, so I ate one. I'm getting to be more of a daredevil at 72. I would say so. I don't think you'll see me getting that curious. Yeah, sauteed peppers. I like them. I like peppers when they're soft. I just don't like them when they're so crunchy. So like if I am making a dish that uses sauteed onions and peppers, like say fajitas. If I'm making fajitas, I'm going to start the peppers first and let them cook for a good bit before I add in the onions. And then that way they'll both get nice and tender because peppers take a little bit longer to cook than onions do. And then once they're both nice and tender, oh, I love those. Love those. Around filtered sun areas under your trees. Okay, I'll have to keep a lookout for those morel mushrooms. I think I actually bought they have like one of those foraging guides of mushrooms for like Arkansas. I actually bought one of those and gave it to my son because he's all about the mushrooms. So I'll have to borrow that and look at that. That way I can make sure I'm getting morels and not something else if we have them. I'll look for them though. I'll have to watch for when people are posting about the morels being in season. Oh gosh. Have you discovered any elderberries or muscadines on your mountain yet? I just love good old Arkansas muscadines. I have seen muscadines all over the place, but I've only seen them one place where there was enough of the muscadines to actually produce fruit. Because usually what I'm seeing up here are just like the little random grapevines here and there. Out at the road, our dirt road, there's like this huge thing of muscadines, but they're right by the dirt road, so they were all covered in dust and all this stuff. So I don't really know that I would want to eat any of those. I do want to start another grape arbor, like I had in Alabama, and so I was actually thinking of going up here with a shovel and digging up some of the wild muscadines and using those to start the grape arbor because obviously they grow here. They're the native grapes, and so I thought that that might be a great way to start a grape arbor here. So, um, and then elderberries. So I did see some wild elderberries, but not on our property. I saw those again along the road, which because they love growing in those areas. But when we moved here, the elderberries that I had planted in Alabama were producing like crazy, and they had tons of little baby elderberry plants popping up. And so I filled buckets with tons of baby elderberry plants, and I planted a whole bunch of them here already. There's like this one area I mentioned that there's like these random like garden bed, flower bed types of things out here under the trees going down the hill. And so one of them I filled with, I think I planted like 6 or 7 good sized baby elderberry trees out there. And then I have 2 more flower pots that had like the itty bitty ones. And I just looked at them yesterday and they've got little green leaves on them. So I've got to find a spot, figure out where I want to plant those and plant some more. So, Lord willing, we will have lots of elderberries here growing on our property. Thank you, Laura. Well, my hair is growing. I'm trying to grow it long again. I didn't talk about it, but I've been wearing headbands a lot and I've been curling my hair a lot, which I don't generally like to do because the last time I went and I got my hair cut, it was butchered. Oh gosh, it was a bad haircut. Okay, so I'll show you this right here. So right here on the side, you can see how like there's this chunk of hair that's like shorter than all the rest. It's a lot of it. This lady it was supposed to be a layered bob. And I don't know what she was thinking because there was no layered bob to that. And it wasn't even. Like this side was shorter than this side and it was like, yeah. So, but thank you. Once it gets long enough, I'm going to start getting it trimmed at the bottom to kind of get rid of these uneven layers. And, you know, I plan on letting my hair grow long. I used to have hair to my hips, and I kind of miss that. So, and I don't know, maybe I'll grow it that long, but I definitely miss the long hair. Let's see here. Raw pepper sandwiches. Oh, interesting. I mean, if you love raw peppers, I could see that. I could maybe, now I could see myself doing a sauteed onion and pepper sandwich, but it's got to be like the caramelized. Okay, you got to soak them all overnight. Okay. Oh yeah, elderberries are so easy to transplant and propagate. And I had done some of cuttings too. You just go out, find a nice branch, cut it in pieces, stick them in water. They root like immediately. They do so well. Now I did them in water, but you can also, I've been told you can dip them in like just straight into rich soil, and that they'll grow right in the soil, without doing the water part first. Yeah, I mean, when you live on a dirt road, everything along the road just gets covered with dust, and so I'm just not, don't really want to, um, don't really want to harvest from there. Yeah, the elderberries, yeah, they can be toxic to some animals. I know the deer love them though, so they're definitely not toxic to deer. But they're only going to be planted in areas where there aren't animals, because I don't want them eating them. Um, the ones that I planted already, the deer could just walk up the hill and eat them if they wanted to. Hopefully they wouldn't, because they'd be right next to the house, but the little baby ones that I have that need to get planted, I would like to do those in the garden area. That way they'll be inside a fence, like the ones I had planted in Alabama. Yeah, Laura, so the lady who did my hair, she had just moved. She worked at a salon someplace else, and she had just moved, and I was one of her very first clients here in Arkansas. And I was like, okay. Well, I went in initially to have it cut, and the first cut I got was fine, but there was like no layers in it. It was supposed to be a layered bob. So I went back and I had her add a little more layers, and she went crazy with those scissors. And I thought, well, is this why she moved? I'm like, oh, I don't know. But it's hair. It'll grow back. But I definitely wouldn't go back to her to have it done. And I didn't want to go back to have her fix it, because, yeah. I do not know if elderberries are toxic to dogs. That would be something to look up. I do know that they are toxic to some animals, but like I said, I know the deer and the birds love them. They decided not to, because of the elderberry, not to purchase that property. Interesting. I mean, I would think you could just cut them down, because they don't turn into like really big trees. You know, they're just shrubby. I would just cut them down if unless they were worried about animals eating them, like baby ones coming up or something. All right. Well, I think, yeah, they get reseeded and grow everywhere. So the baby ones that I dug up and I brought here to Arkansas, they had actually come out of the root system, like 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 runners, you know, like raspberries do, where you get the runners that come out of the roots and then they pop up with new ones. And that's where ours were coming from, because I had to cut roots to get all of the elderberry plants loose. I do hope to. get some more berries going. Now, I did plant some blueberries last year, like in the springtime, right when we moved here. I have one of the raised beds up here that I thought this would be a great spot. So I'm trying to utilize some of the existing beds, but I haven't really planted a whole lot in them just because I really need to spend time seeing how much sun there is, um, which ones get some sun, which ones don't, because I would like to put perennials of some sort in them, but I want to make sure I'm planting things that are going to grow well there. I don't want to waste time and money, on planting something. I am in my greenhouse, Laura. So this is an existing greenhouse that was here when we moved in. It's not anywhere near as big, of course, as the one I had there in Alabama, but it was a built greenhouse. It is the perfect spot for me to start some seeds in, and that's really all I need it for. Maybe someday I might build something a little bit bigger to grow stuff more in the winter. Um, but yeah, well, I can show you. It's a mess. This is my task this week, is to get this greenhouse organized. Um, so it's a little chaotic, but so that's like the house. It's built off of the house, so it's the wall of the house right there. There's some shelving, and then these are just like the big windows, and that were repurposed from somewhere else. And you can see that these are they go like this. Oop. And they just push open like that to open. So it opens there, and then it opens it at the bottom as well. And then it just locks. But all of the greenhouse was built out of these. And there's actually a couple extra window sections behind one of our sheds where they had put, I guess they had more windows than they needed to build this. And so they just stuck them back there, which is nice because if something, say a window gets broken, we've got some spares. So somebody did a lot of reutilization of things. Let's see. All right, let me go back. Yeah, it'll be a good greenhouse, and especially after I get it organized. And yeah, I've got wind chimes everywhere here. I love wind chimes, and so if I'm outside, you're likely to hear them, especially on a breezy day like today. Do you ever do anything with mullein? Can you drink too much mullein tea? Um, I have only used mullein a couple of times. I mostly use it as an oil. Um, for earaches. I know it is. Now, my son uh, has used it as, what's the word? I'm drawing a blank. Kind of like an inhaler for bronchitis, and he could not believe how well it worked. There's a way of using it it's not an inhaler. What is the word I'm thinking of? It's like a humidifier, but you breathe it. I'm just drawing a blank. Anyways, he's used it for that, and it helped him because he gets bronchitis a lot. And every time he has used that, it has knocked it out like instantly. Yeah, I burnt myself on the wood stove. I need to get some of those gloves. Nope, this greenhouse was already here when we moved in. It was one of the added perks. And this is where I have done, I think, my last 2 scripture reading videos on Saturdays, my live reads. I had a mint garden and I had to smother it with wood planks. Oh yeah, mint goes everywhere. When we had our place there in Alabama, my front flower bed area, I planted 2 chocolate mint plants, and I had chocolate mint. It like took over that entire, the chocolate mint and the lemon balm took over that entire thing. And actually, one of the lower raised beds that's down there, because mints can handle not having direct sun. I planted lemon balm down there to start letting it get established in that bed because it'll be contained and I don't have to worry about it spreading everywhere. Oh, yeah, Julie says she's used the mullein in a tincture form for respiratory problems. So we do have a bunch of mullein that grows here, and so I'm planning on harvesting some this year and making tinctures from it. Yeah, mints, nebulizer. That's the word. Thank you, Anna. Mints can go absolutely everywhere. As a matter of fact, it had started growing in the our raised bed garden out front there in Alabama. It was started growing in the yard part, which I didn't care because it was taking over the grass and stuff because you mowed it. It sure smelled good when I mowed. Yeah, mints can be very evasive or invasive. If it's an environment that they like, um, it'll go crazy. Anything in the mint family. Chocolate mint, peppermint, um, lemon balm is in the mint family, so it will spread. Anything in the mint family will. Catnip, that's another mint. Um, yeah, it can, and I'm not even sure how how to fully get rid of it. Probably have to maybe mulch, like a heavy mulch. I don't know. Yep, catnip. We had catnip growing in one of our raised beds there in Alabama, and I didn't plant it. It was from the birds dropping seeds, rolling it up like a carpet to get rid of it. Yeah, I can imagine. And I mean, and if you miss any of the roots, it's gonna come right back. It's oh, there's a fly. Um, it can be difficult. So yeah, I try to tell people anytime you're going to grow a mint, make sure you're planting it in some sort of raised bed or a pot or some place that it's going to be contained. Oh, Julie says her cats just go and lay in the catnip and sleep. I tried giving a Nubs and Stumper. No, who did I give it to? Yeah, Nubs and Stumper. Some catnip. They didn't care. They didn't care about it. Can you explain how to use mullein in the nebulizer? I will have to ask my son about it because he had looked it up. Because I had mentioned to him that mullein is supposed to be good for respiratory. Um, and so he looked up the information. He's an adult, so he looked up the information, and started using it, and he said it worked great. So, I will ask him about that and see if I can find some information, and maybe I can put that in my community tab on the channel here, um, and provide some information for that or some links, some resources. I do know that it is also good occasionally to smoke, like roll up the dry leaves and burn it and just breathe in the smoke. But of course, I mean, it is not something you want to do all the time, but I do know that that's how, and he has tried doing it that way, like in a pinch, and it did help. He just held it up like he was burning, like a little torch, and he just went like this and was breathing it in, and it helped his lungs. Oh, yep. Carmelita said that. A friend of ours picked the mullein, rolled it like a cigarette, and smoked it, and it helped her not smoke as much. So I have not started any seeds yet. I'm holding off because I have mentioned this earlier. I'm trying to not start my seeds too soon because I have bad habit of doing that. And then I've got plants that desperately need to get in the ground, and I don't have the weather for it yet because here is just like in Alabama, our last average average frost date is in April. And so it's like I was ready to start seeds the other day and I'm like, "Wait a minute. It's February. I can't put stuff in the ground really until April. So I need to just hold on. I'm so anxious to get garden going." But yeah, I've got the 4 beds out there. And the beds, I had some questions about those. The beds are made out of pressure treated lumber. And because I've tried to use not pressure treated lumber in the past, and the boards just like rotted immediately. And from everything that I have read and what I've been told by people in the lumber industry is that pressure treated lumber nowadays are treated with copper, and that's what's used to preserve the wood. Copper is not toxic. However, what I was told is if you use recycled wood, like old pressure treated lumber, like from something else you take apart and reutilize the wood, that wood may not be safe to use for garden beds because you don't know what it was treated with. Because they used to treat pressure treated lumber with really toxic, nasty stuff, and you wouldn't want to expose your food to that. And so, um, pressure treated lumber now, because and that's why if you look at pressure treated lumber, how it has a lot of time a greenish tinge to it, it's the copper. And so, um, it's safe to use. And so, yeah, I use 2x12s. The length of them is 10 feet boards, and the ends I bought 8 footers, and I cut them in half. So the ends are each 4 foot boards, and then 10. So each of the 4 beds that I built out there are 40 square feet. Oh no! Yep. See, Angie says she jumped the gun here in North Texas and now has seedlings all over the house. And because it's gonna, yeah, we've got several freezes coming up here in the next 10-day forecast that I've seen. So I think what I'm going to do as far as like when I'm gonna start, I'm thinking middle of March. I think because that'll give me about a month to have the seedlings started, and then that way they'll be good and healthy, but they won't be leggy. You know what I mean? Because they get so cramped in those little pots, and so I figure 1 month. I can always plant them a little bit later. That won't hurt anything. I just don't want to have them ready too soon. So I'm thinking like this, probably the week after I do the speaking engagement. So like maybe 2 weeks from now is when I'll be planting seeds. Oh, loofahs. Okay, so I actually just found. Um, I had one of these baskets that I have up here, like that one. I had some loofah sections in there, and they still had a bunch of seeds in there. So I probably will plant some loofahs. Um, I will start those seeds though, because the years that I started the seeds in the soil and just let them go from this, planted this, sowed the seeds in the gardens, I didn't really get many loofahs. And because there were, well, I had tons of loofahs, but they weren't fully matured by the time they need a really long growing season. I had a sweet lady gift me some started loofah plants the last year that I planted them, and I had loofahs galore everywhere. They're amazing. Loofahs are a gourd, and if you ever go to a store in the health and beauty section and you see the brown scrubbers that are some sort of natural material, that's what they are. A lot of people think they come out of the ocean, but they're a gourd, and it's the fibrous interior of this gourd. I have a video on my channel where I talk about I talk about the loofahs and I show like how to peel them and all that stuff and how and the seeds in there and everything. But yeah, so you can use the loofahs not only as, you know, for scrubbing your body as an excellent exfoliant, but you can also use them for scrubbing dishes. They're amazing. And as a matter of fact, there's one variety. I think they actually call them dishcloth gourds. Baker Creek, I think, has them listed as dishcloth gourds. But they need a lot of space. So you don't want to plant them. I made this mistake the first year. I planted them at the end of one of my garden beds, thinking, well, they'll grow here on this trellis, and then I had the tomatoes at the rest of the garden bed. Those vines went everywhere, and it didn't matter how much you chopped that. It was like kudzu. It didn't matter how much you chopped it off. It would just keep on growing. It was pretty wild. Um, but yeah, so I would like to grow loofahs. When I came across my seeds that were up in that basket, I'm like, oh, these seeds should be viable. And if they're not, I've got some in my seed stash. So I just have to figure out where to put them because I will have to make like a little bed to plant those and give them a trellis because they cannot be with the rest of the stuff because they grow like crazy. They're not invasive in that they keep coming back and taking over. It's just the vines grow crazy and they do need, like I said, I think I started to say that they need a long growing season. So I'm going to start the seeds ahead of time, give them as much time as possible to grow, um, so that those gourds can get fully developed. Yeah, I would like to go to Baker Creek at some point. Oop, oop, what did I do? Hold on. No, hold on. I just tapped something. No, I didn't mean to do that. I'm sorry, Carmelita. I think I just accidentally deleted one of your messages. I apologize. I think that was the one you were mentioning, Baker Creek. Um, so yeah, I might have to go there sometime. That would be nice. All right. Yeah, because Baker Creek isn't that far. I think it's like 4 hours or something like that. So I would like to go up there sometime. We'll just have to play it by ear. I don't want to like try and set a date or anything like that because, life gets crazy. But in any case, it is 1:30. I think it is time to wrap this up for today. Thank you guys for joining me here at for my live chat. Don't do these very often, but this was a lot of fun, and I'm glad you guys were all able to join me. Um, there's a chocolate store there too. Oh gosh, love my chocolate. But I am, I don't think I've, I don't think I have mentioned this. I am back on doing carnivore again, for at least for a little while. I need to kind of reset things and get things back in order. So the mugs will be coming. I'm waiting on the shipping boxes. They haven't come in yet. I'm actually going to go to the post office here in just a minute and talk to them and see about the order. I ordered them weeks ago and they haven't come. And so I'm going to see how many they got. Maybe I could order some through the post office directly. And once I get those mugs in, I will be putting them for sale. Or once I get the boxes in for the mugs, I will be listing the mugs for sale. I will do a video announcing it, letting everybody know exactly when, what day, what time, all that stuff. So just be on the lookout for that. Of course, if you're subscribed to my newsletter, the newsletter will be the first ones to know about it. All right. Well, thanks again, everybody, for joining me. And I will talk to y'all again Friday. And again, I just want to mention, so the schedule will still be Monday, Wednesday, Friday videos, Saturday scriptures, And then I'm going to do Monday vlog, Wednesdays in the kitchen, Fridays will be the narrated style of video. So that's what we're going to try out and see how that goes. Because I love the narrated videos. They just take way too much time to edit. Can't get anything else done if I'm doing that. So, all right. Thanks, you guys. It's been wonderful talking with all of you. And like I said, I got to run to the post office and talk to them about some boxes. So, yep. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And have a great rest of your day and rest of your week. And I will, Lord willing, talk to y'all again soon.